Mm. Hello, fellow losters. Today we have Megha from Bangalore, and she's a dental. Am I right in saying that she's a
Yes.
dental surgeon? Yes, by profession, and so it's very interesting to note that she's also writing. So let's welcome Megha for our LOL season 2. Over to Danya for a formal introduction.
Author Megha is a dental surgeon by profession and loves to work around words. She's been writing short stories and poetry in English for a while. She has completed her education in Bangalore and presently lives in Raipur with her lovely family. She's friendly, loves talking to people, and an animal lover and a traveler. Buy Two Coffee and the Other Tales, Brewed in Bangalore, is a collection of short stories that she self-published. It is largely based on her life as a child in Bangalore. We're very happy to have you here, Megha. Your
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
intro itself is a little too, unusual
Unique.
because,
Yes.
yeah, because a surgeon who's like, I'm not sure if I can call it turned into an author because I'm
Yeah,
sure you're still continuing that.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so interesting that she has self-published, and so I want to
Yeah.
begin the session with that question. What made you think you should self-publish? Didn't you wait for publishers to take up your manuscripts? Did you pitch and all that? Can you start with that?
Yeah, sure. Okay. What happened was I had written another book earlier. Okay. It was it was a fiction based on political situation in Chhattisgarh, the tribal background and things like that. So I had pitched it to many publishers during the lockdown phase, of course. And I did hear from a few of them, but then they quoted really, large amounts.
Oh,
Yeah. So at that time, I thought it was not a wise decision because we were under lockdown. Okay. And investing into something, a first book during a lockdown, we don't know if the book will sell. I don't know if I'll get returns or even a copy of it might go off the shelf. I mean, with so much of uncertainty, I kind of put that project to a halt. And this I self-published just on an experimental basis, because everybody said, why don't you give it a try?
mm.
So you just take a chance with this. So that's how I went about
So you did both the print and the Kindle version of this book?
Yes, I have done both.
Okay. So since you took Chhattisgarh and the tribe and all, then I will be very interested. And now, so what is that a fiction, that book?
Yeah, the other book, yes, that was also
It is
a fiction.
Oh.
Yeah, that is a fiction. And this, of course, is. Oh, thank you.
Whether you will make me a beta reader. Anyways.
Definitely,
so,
I would.
That's very interesting. Chhattisgarh tribal thing. Okay. But you said they asked for investing, right? The publishing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Didn't you think of traditional publishing? Did you approach any literary agent?
No, I didn't actually, because first of all, I didn't have an idea about how to go about it. Okay, because we were all at home and I didn't know what to do, and I did mail a couple of them and I didn't hear from them again. So obviously, maybe they were not happy with the pitch. And I did hear from one publisher, but they said it's going to take 6-7 months.
It takes.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time, and then we just went about talking about it, and somehow at that moment I didn't have that kind of a patience with Buy Two Coffee, actually. There was so much pressure from the family and friends that they wanted to read it.
Oh.
And it was a very small book, actually. It's just 10 short stories, the one which I've self-published. So I thought, okay, let me, I'm not going to wait for so many months to have a tiny book published. So,
the Chhattisgarh one is a novel, full novel, full-fledged?
Yeah, that's a novel. I've just put it on hold for the moment. That is about 40,000 words, 50,000 words, about 50,000.
Oh, okay. It's a normal size.
Yeah, not
acceptable.
Yeah, almost a novel.
And then I was going to ask you what genre is it? As in, you say it's a fiction.
Yeah.
Chhattisgarh tribal and all. So how have you composed it as a science fiction or socio-political?
Okay. That is a fiction based on the political conditions in Chhattisgarh, how development has affected the tribes and the displacement and things like that. But then it has a very humane face to it because it is based on a family.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting for the right time to bring that book out. Meanwhile, I thought Buy Two Coffee was a very light-hearted book and people would like to read it. So I went ahead with that first.
Good. Now, like you said like when you were trying to pitch the other book,
Yeah.
they were asking for a lot of investment.
Yeah.
And so you decided to self-publish this.
Yes.
What is the difference between investing in your book and self-publishing your book? Have you like just published it on Kindle and just printed it out yourself and you're promoting it? Is that what you mean by that?
When I approached a traditional publisher, I mean, a vanity publishing, it was a one-time investment, ranging from thousands to a lakh and more. Okay. Self-publishing, I published on, of course, on Kindle, it's free of cost, and I published the paperback through Notion Press,
Okay.
the portal. So with that, they just charge a percentage of the sale of every copy sold.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I don't sell anything, I don't have to pay.
Yeah.
Print on demand. Yes.
Yeah, print on demand. So
Yes.
it's safer. It's a safer
Yes.
option.
Yes. That is a safe option. Yes.
Both options were self-publishing, but you just took the option of print on demand option in the
Yes.
self-publishing itself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So because
when was that published, Megha? This
Buy Two Coffee, October last week in November. Yeah, 2021.
how has it been doing?
It's been really good. We sold about initial sales were like 200, 300 copies.
Not bad.
Most of them bought, friends and family and people who are interested to know about Bangalore. It's basically based on Bangalore of the early 90s, 80s and 90s. So there was a curiosity factor, like what Bangalore was like back then. And some stories with local, I've used a lot of the local language, Kannada in it, words. So people were a little curious, especially the city where I live. There was a lot of curiosity about Bangalore of that time. So yeah, I'm happy with the response. I'm quite happy.
That's good. Reviews? What about the reviews of your book?
Reviews have been quite good. I think around 56 to 57 people have reviewed it on Amazon. Have a decent number of reviews on Goodreads as well.
That's good.
And I keep getting positive feedback on social media, on Instagram.
So how did you go
and,
about the editing part, rewriting and layout, and how did you do everything on your own?
I did. You will be shocked to know this book was written on a mobile, on just a simple Android, because I'm not good with laptop.
Okay.
And I didn't know, every time I had to open up the system and things like that. So smartphones are easier. I had access to just a smartphone, and I began writing with that. And then I use some software like Grammarly and things to edit the, and I tried that. And there's another app called Hemingway, which I used on the laptop and then used to edit it. All these active passive voices and some redundant words need to be removed, and basic editing.
How did they differ, Grammarly and Hemingway?
I use the free version of both, and I just copy pasted my text into the space allotted. It gives you the prompts.
she's asking what is the difference between, like, how different?
Yeah, Grammarly basically is. I found Hemingway easier because it kind of highlights the various, various ways in which you can edit. Grammarly is basic grammar, right? Active, passive voices and the punctuations. But Hemingway, it kind of gave me, prompts as to how it can be changed as well. Different color codings for different aspects, and it was very interesting to use it. I mean, even the free version gives you quite a lot of
Did you
tools.
come across this issue in such software, especially in Grammarly? I heard so strictly against passive, isn't it?
Yes,
Is it
yes,
not?
yes,
Oh.
yes, yes, very much.
So,
But I
so
just
how did you handle
hit
that?
ignore.
Did you
No, I
ignore it or
yes, yes, I just
you
ignored
did?
it. I keep hitting ignore all the time. It's not possible
I
all the time, you know.
know. I know.
Yeah,
It's after all
So,
a machine, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
used it as a guideline, but yeah.
So this will do the grammar edit and all that. What about
Yeah.
your content and context edit? Like, did you have beta readers for yourself or someone to check it for you?
No, actually, I did it on my own because at that particular time I didn't have access to, you know, we were all locked up at home, and you know, the people whom I approached, people were held up in different ways, you know, with all the things happening around, and everybody was in their own. So I thought it's written in very simple language. So I just you know, did a basic editing. Some syntax errors and grammar, and some people pointed out, a few friends, I can call them beta readers, of course, they just you know, read and pointed out that this could be changed a bit, and basic editing, and that's it. I've done it on my own.
So
Largely.
the research part for the, like, I'm sure for this for the short story collection, the research part might not have taken much time because it is your story, right? It's your experience. So
Yes.
research maybe like you must have just you know, gone back on in your memory lane and just taken notes. That would have been the maximum research.
Yeah,
But for the
there
novel,
was.
yes, yes.
So even for the short stories, like there is a story on Lal Bagh, actually, a garden in Bangalore, very popular botanical garden. So I just needed to, you know, do a little research about who got it made, the glass house, and things like that. Factual, you know, I needed it to be accurate. You know, I just can't write something. So I had forgotten those minor things.
I have written about Lal Bagh also in this place.
Oh, wow. It's somehow a very, it has a very, you know, important part in every Bangalorean's life. Every child must have visited it.
Yes.
At least once.
Anyone from South India would have visited Bangalore, and anyone
exactly
in Bangalore would have visited Lal Bagh for sure.
Yeah, the glass house.
And the Mysore Palace. Was all of
Mysore Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to do that. And a few localities in Bangalore, I had to cross check about that. Like Malleshwaram, I quoted, and you know, I just wanted to be sure that it's right. The route I mentioned, and just small things. Otherwise, that was it.
So she was going to ask.
Why did you
going to ask? She was going to ask about Chhattisgarh.
How about the research?
Did you do that research in depth?
Research for the tribal, you know?
Yes. I am still doing the research is still on, actually, although the first draft is ready, because you know, things keep changing.
Yes.
And when it comes to tribal tales and folklore, it's not documented. So today people will give you a version, and you talk to somebody else tomorrow, they have a different version. They say, no, that's not right. This is how it was. So then again, there's a conflict. And since I have mentioned a lot about tribal culture and tradition, you know, that was again a problem, because there was one group of people saying that, no, this is how it is done. And another group says, this is how it is done. And you can't really, you know, vouch for the authenticity ultimately, because we don't know. So that became a problem. And also I wanted to be safe, you know, like I didn't want to make any political statements, you know, hinting towards any particular group or things like that. So, yeah, exactly. Although it's welcome for publicity, but then we must not get into that. So that was a challenge. You know?
When it is non-fiction, you really have to take care. But when it is fiction, there is that room for
disclaimer.
It's fiction. Sorry. So don't create any friction with me.
Yeah.
It's
so,
fiction.
That is fiction.
Yeah, interesting.
I just went about that, and and some places and cities, towns, villages, you know, these things need to be. I had to check up on that a bit.
Did you talk to the people? Like, did you talk to the actual tribes that you are right?
Yes. Yeah. I did talk to them. And like some of them I know personally, who have now settled down in the cities, you know, taken up jobs and pursuing different careers. They do have a good background knowledge of it. So like the elders in the community, and you know, so yes,
in that context, we must tell that Danya is working on her next work, which is
okay
about the tribes of Andaman.
Oh wow!
That's why I
Wonderful.
told her she'll be interested in your work. So you
Great.
both can have each other as Peter readers.
Yes, sure.
Ah,
Yeah, definitely.
because genre is the same.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very good. Mhm.
So yeah,
That's
my
all.
next question that I wanted to ask you was, see, for a short story collection, it's very different for you to contemplate and write it because and also because yours is from your own life.
Hmm.
But why did you think that you had to write about that part of your life? Like, what was it about life in Bangalore that was so attractive that you thought, okay, it has to be written about?
Okay. I now live in Chhattisgarh. I go to Bangalore once a year. Okay, those typical summer vacation visits to mother's place. Okay, so that's how it goes. And every time I go, it's heartbreaking to see how the city has changed in terms of the greenery, the people, the language. It's becoming more and more cosmopolitan, a metro kind of a look. Back then it was, but to a limited extent, you know. So I think a kind of nostalgia hits you every time. And it was a good childhood, of course, no doubt. It was a beautiful childhood, and kids are missing out on that now in Bangalore. Like, the small things like playing on the streets with your friends and the Sunday oil baths at home. Everything has changed. Now people go for weekend, trips and things like that. We didn't have that. We just had our friends and family. Yeah, and there were some funny incidents in Bangalore during that time, which I wanted to, bring to light. Like this Hindi movie Stree Kalana. It's a horror movie that is based on an incident which happened in Bangalore called Naleba. A witch was, visiting every home, and they used to write on the door, "Come tomorrow." So apparently the witch used to look at it and say, "Okay, come tomorrow," and she goes back and comes the next day. So, something small incidents like this, I thought we must document it so that the future generations, they might read and just have a good laugh, something like that. So that's how it came about, actually, the whole thing.
Do you also like add in little parts of science too? Because you are based, you are a surgeon. Is there like a streak of science that comes out in your, like, do you have that niche?
No, not in this book, not with this book. This book was purely written through the eyes of a 5-year-old growing up. It's like a coming of age thing. So the language is that simple, the words are that simple, and there is no thinking. There is no deep thinking at all. It's just like a child. The questions that come up in her mind, that's it. So that was how it was written.
So any children,
what about the next one?
Any age group of children also must be enjoying.
Yes, that was the idea.
Any reviews from children?
Yes, I did get a lot of reviews from this 10 to 12-year-olds saying that it's so beautiful to know the kind of childhood my mother had or my father had, and many children who couldn't spend time with their grandparents for different reasons. I mean, they really had a very warm feeling after reading. It's so much fun to have grandparents to live with them, something like that.
Did you try taking the book to the school library?
Yeah, I do have a book club here. So I left a few copies there, and there are some book cafes in Raipur, a couple of them. So books were sold from there as well. So I got very good reviews from the younger age group.
Libraries, they can have, no?
School libraries, yes, from this session I will, because schools have just opened now after the COVID thing. Yeah. So I will definitely make it.
So I'm going to ask a general question. You are a dental surgeon. I'm sure you read during your childhood and all, that is all understood. But did you try writing poetry or prose during your childhood? And when was this, fascination for words, as you put it? When did it start? So what are the authors you read during your childhood, and now what are the authors?
Okay. My grandfather was a great reading enthusiast, and he loved writing. So every time he used to take us on holidays, it was mandatory to write at the end of the day an essay.
Like school.
Yes. What time did I catch the bus? Where did it stop? Where did I reach? Where did I go sightseeing? So it used to seem like a torture because at that age, Holiday, yes, but then you have to come home and write about it. So, he used to correct very meticulously. Grammar is not proper, your writing is not good, your sentence formation. So this began from when I was in class 5, the earliest I remember, class 4 or 5. So there, and vacations were kind of mixed because we had holidays, but then we had this assignment as well. So that's how it began. But then I found that after a couple of holidays which we took, it became a habit. It just came subconsciously. Every time we're sitting in the train, we have a book and a pen ready and noting down all the stations and the timings. So it grew that way. And when I was in class 7, I was gifted a diary to write a daily diary entry. And since then, it has been a permanent thing, writing every day. So that's how I began writing.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
So now,
So then even for your books, you must have like a set schedule, right? Then I think that's ingrained in you that you will have like a set schedule to write like these many words. Something, is that so?
Yeah, every day I used to write every day. So it was just about 10 short stories. So it didn't take me much time because it was from my own memory. It didn't require any extra preparation as such. So that way, yes, it was easier. The authors that I read back then were whatever was prescribed in school. And we read a lot of Enid Blyton because that's what the school library had. And we had this Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, and things like that. Fiction, basically.
Do you read now?
Mysteries and yeah, I do.
What do you read now?
Now I like reading Arundhati Roy. Then I have gone back. I'm going a little retro now because somebody suggested to me Eric Segal and Richard Bach. So I'm reading a mix actually. I'm open to anything. Anybody says, yeah, it's a good book, you must. I do give it a try.
But she wrote after 10 years or 11 years.
Yeah, after long.
Unless, of course, you can read her social, political articles. But otherwise, she wrote after so many years.
After so many years.
Yeah.
And then I've been reading a mix of, some old classics as well because I missed out on all during my dentistry. I couldn't read. I was busy studying all those books. So I just went back to that. I read Murakami, quite a bit of Murakami.
Thanks for reading Murakami.
Beautiful books, amazing. So that's what I've been doing.
Thank you.
Are you a fan? Are you a Murakami fan?
Yes.
He's a diehard Murakami fan.
Oh, good. Yeah, very good. I read Kafka on the Shore twice to figure out what it was.
That's her favorite. That's her most favorite book.
No,
I read it every 2 days, 2 years.
No, in my book club, that was the book of the month, but it dragged on for 2 months because there was so much scope for discussion with that book.
Yes. Every time you read it, you will get something out of it. Because it's magical realism, so much unsaid words there. It's amazing. Yes.
It's amazing.
Tanya, you should read that. Kafka.
Yeah, begin with Norwegian Wood, probably a little simpler.
No, she is a reader. Even tough.
Then Kafka.
Kafka, the show she can read. She doesn't have to read anything else. Maybe Elephant Vanishes. Have you read Elephant Vanishes?
No, Elephant.
It's a set of short stories. Again, magical realism. Oh, okay, brilliant. I have. In fact, I can share with you the PDF I have.
Oh yeah, please do.
Sure. I'll share with you.
I'm going on a holiday, so I can do a lot of reading now.
Yes, I will. So, Tanya, any questions?
Yes. I'm just waiting for you guys to finish catching up on Murakami. So yeah, how did you go about promoting your book? Like, did you have do it on social media? Did you just have to go like you said, your reading group? How did you promote the book?
The promotion was only through contacts on Instagram, not even Facebook or any other media. I do have a school group on WhatsApp. The typical school group that all of us must be having. So there are about 50 people there. So, it was kind of a pyramidal thing. They started, it's a good book, my friend has written it, something like that. I mean, that's how the word spread. And Instagram. I mean, I didn't do any ads as such, but it was just, before the release of the book, I started posting clips about Bangalore and childhood and things like that. So there was a kind of a curiosity factor regarding that. And I guess that helped me. That really helped. So most of them were readers were unknown. I don't even know who they were, and I got reviews from them on Instagram. That means my strategy worked somewhere. I mean, so that way, yes.
And
yeah, I had the reading group, and I mean, of course, I never really asked them to buy it as such, but they were interested. Once they knew that it is about a different city and the life there, a different kind of a childhood. So that was
very interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
How long did it take for you to finish the book, like from conceptualizing the book to the final draft?
I took about 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks, because it was short. It was short stories and mainly writing from memory, something like a diary entry only. So that didn't take long. Where I got stuck up was publishing. All the editing, and every time we went through it, somebody found an error or something small, some comma, some full stop, things like that, which we've missed. That really took a long time.
Yeah, polishing and punctuation can be really time consuming, and we have to have a magnifying glass.
In spite of that, you miss sometimes.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Did you go through any rewriting, or was it just the first draft which is edited and it has been published? Right?
No, I did rewrite. Initially, there were a couple of more stories, and somehow when I began reading, I thought it was interfering with the flow. That girl growing up, it was kind of focusing more on her teenage and all. I didn't want it like that. I just wanted a smooth transition of all the phases. So I did eliminate that, and I made the last chapter. I just changed it a bit. The title is "Bye to Coffee." Initially, it ended differently, but then I wanted it to end with the same title. I mean, the same reference to that coffee. So that part I did rewrite the last chapter. So that was the thing.
What's the significance of the title?
Significance is "Bye to Coffee" is like cutting chai. In Mumbai, you have "Bye to chai," "Bye to." So "Bye to Coffee."
Sharing.
Yes.
1 by 2.
1 by 2 sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Bangalore, it's like, even if you can afford the most expensive coffee, there is a thing attached to sharing a coffee with a friend or a loved one. So in this girl's life, it happened twice at very strategic points. So that is the significance of the title.
Very cute. Very nice. Very nice. So, generally speaking, generally, what does creativity mean to you? As in, not just in writing, but also in your daily life, in your profession. For example, your dental surgeon, have you, been creative in day-to-day, like daily life and your profession? Can you share with us about that? Maybe we can go and come back.
Yeah. Right? Okay, so creativity to me is looking at something which is not obvious to others, probably in a different way. Okay, so I tend to observe things very keenly, mainly maybe because of my profession, because we work with very minute and very tiny structures. Yes. So that has kind of led me to observe people and things very keenly. And I think that has added to my creativity. So I do try a lot of other things as well. Painting, journaling, scrapbooking. I like to watch art movies, try to analyze them. So yes, I would like to think of myself as a creative person.
Nice. Even I love art movies, and I do try painting. So I think it's there in all of us, right?
Yeah.
Danya always uses pencils, color pencils to draw. So, so how did your profession hinder your writing, or how even in, I'm sure this COVID period, the lockdown, the times you couldn't go to your clinic perhaps.
Yes.
You had more
Yes.
time then. Yeah.
Yes, I have more time
Share
to
with us
write. And,
how it helped or how you missed
Yeah.
that clinic.
right. I think my profession has only helped me to write, not caused any hindrances, mainly because I meet a lot of people. Okay.
Ah.
And yeah, what I always say is patients tend to, hang around and tell us their stories as well, most
Okay.
times.
Always tell them to open their mouth.
Yeah, literally. Open your mouth.
Stay hard.
Talk
Also.
more. Yeah. So you tend to, pick up some funny things or something very interesting most times, and kind of stays on in your mind. If you're a writer, then
Yeah.
so while writing, you can just fit it in somewhere. You tend to think of it, or probably that person turns into a character because of various
we
things.
wouldn't know. Yes, true.
Yeah. So I think it has only helped me because
Uh-huh.
I love talking to people, and invariably I end up, that's how I get to know more about them. So yeah, it adds a very interesting touch to life, meeting so many people every day.
So is any dental surgeon character forming in you for your future works?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I was planning to write something, about romance because there's a demand. That's what people are reading. So a lot of people, why don't you try? Why don't you try? I said, okay, let me give it a try. So maybe
So the work in progress is a romance.
Yeah. Yes.
It
yes.
is, right?
Yes.
I was about to ask the work in progress.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, I've never tried it earlier, but nothing wrong in giving it a try. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, though your book is non-fiction, though it's from your own life, you still must have added, elements of fiction to maybe emphasize a little more, or exaggerate a little emotion a bit better, right?
Yes.
So where do you think your non-fiction stops and fiction starts, or where do you think fiction stops and non-fiction starts?
I used a bit of fiction only to, get the characters together. That's all. It was only limited to that. Like I wanted to introduce a lot of characters from the family and the, people around me, the friends and the neighborhood. There I required to bring in some element of fiction because I could not, keep quoting relationships, and it gets too tedious and boring. So that's where I had to just bring in, and maybe to add a fun element somewhere, to make it funny, some incidents. That's it. That was where I used most of it, fiction. Otherwise, it was largely true incidents. Most of it. Yeah.
So, did you have to did you face somewhere you wrote about someone and they knew it was about them and they were
yeah, everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Okay.
I had mentioned a cousin. Yeah, I had mentioned a cousin of mine, and he was like, "You made me, you turned me into a brat in that." I'm such a very dignified guy. But then, did you really think this about me back at that time? I said, yes. So was I that annoying? I got, and yeah, people did, okay, who was this? Who was this? People who knew the group, actually, the child group, they wanted to know who was given what name, basically. So that was the thing. Otherwise,
create a glossary.
Otherwise, most of them knew with the description who was what there.
Good guessing game.
Guessing game.
So, see, you must have written when you write short stories about yourself, you will not just focus on the good, happy things. Okay, there'll be points when there were sad, moments.
Yes.
When you were writing about that and reliving it, how harrowing was the process? Or did you feel that? I'm sure that you must have moved on from that now, but still, did it feel cathartic, or did it feel like a burden to live back those memories?
Yeah, actually, I cried throughout when I wrote that book because it is based largely on my grandparents who brought me up, because my parents were busy working and things like that. I was very attached to them. They are no longer here with us. So, yeah, I mean, challenge with editing was that, every time I was reading it, I was just crying because you miss them, you miss them very dearly, and they are no more. And of course, even the friends, childhood friendships are so different. There's so much of innocence, and
they're very genuine.
yeah, very genuine. And I think all of us miss our childhood because life was easier back then. So yes, it was very painful at times, quite. And when I gave it to my mother to read, she literally cried because it was her parents about whom the whole thing was based on. And yeah, many people gave me very emotional reactions to it from the family. So then I realized that it's okay. It's not only me. Everybody is. When you go back in time,
grandparents,
yeah. So everybody recollects, and basically missing childhood, I should say. Adulting has been very difficult for everybody.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned in your bio that you have also written poetry. Have your poetry been published in an anthology or somewhere else? Like, have you been publishing that also?
Yeah, that was published by one Ukioto publishing house. Okay, it's based in Malaysia, I guess, but they are publishing in India. They had called for some women who wanted to write, as a part of a Women's Day, or it was something like that, some event. So that's where I did pitch in the poetry. It was not an anthology; it was an independent publication. So yeah, it was again a short collection of poems.
So what kind of poems are there in that collection? What types of poems do you write?
This was based on mainly emotions of women, based on a woman.
Okay.
Yeah, feelings, and there is a little bit of love poetry. There is something which is a little painful. Various shades of emotions, basically.
But realism.
Realism. Yes.
So I think it's time for us to go on to our next segment, which is Word of W's. Word of W's is nothing but like W questions: what, when, where, and all that. So you don't have to be, you can give elaborate answers, and it's for the listeners. If they didn't have the time to listen and sit through the entire session, they could just scroll down here and get the gist. So that is the point of this segment. Okay. Yeah. Let me go with the first question. What is your next work, and what are you right now working on?
Okay, right now I have two things on mind. One is to get that unfinished work of mine published. I plan to pursue that and have it published. Also writing something about romance, fiction. Again, it will be a novella, just a short, yeah.
So when are these expected to be published?
Maybe one of them at least by this year end. One of them, either of them by year end.
Would you still be going through the the self-publishing route, or would you be interested in taking the traditional publishing?
I think for a change this time I will try traditional. I will pitch it to a traditional publisher, and even if it takes long, I'm willing to wait this time. Because
you have another book to work on while you
yeah,
wait.
Yes,
how you should do.
Yeah, so I wanted to reach more people, and I realized that maybe traditional publishing will offer me that advantage of a platform. So that's what I'm planning.
Pitch the romance first. Leave the Chhattisgarh for the second.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I will experiment with traditional with the romance thing, and when I know
romance,
with higher
chances of taking.
Yeah, exactly.
They are after sales. So once that is taken, your Chhattisgarh can go later.
Exactly. So that's how I'm planning.
How different is writing a novel from writing short stories for you, particularly?
Oh yes, it is difficult because I think I'm more of a short story writer. That's what I've realized now, because somewhere I tend to, have that what do you say, the inclination to end it and begin something new. I want to leave one part there and then go on to the next. So I'm facing a problem with that. So I've come up with a strategy for that. I'm going back and front and date, taking inspiration from Murakami, going back in time and present. That's how I'm, trying to make up for that shortcoming.
Actually, I've read novels that can stand alone.
Yes.
But the whole picture also will form eventually. That's
Yeah.
the strategy to write.
Yeah,
So each
probably.
chapter is a standalone also. So you can also try.
Yeah,
that
I
way.
could try.
A novel, but all
Mm.
chapters can stand alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Mm.
So maybe I'll try that.
Lovely. Yeah.
You
So where
can go with,
can
like you
our
said, non-linear also works, I think, because Ms. Jainti, all her
Yeah.
books are non-linear books, and they add that, I mean, the reader is a little more engaged that way.
Yes.
Not be so
Actually.
chronological, and it will not be one,
Yeah.
one stream. So when there is non-linear stuff, people who read will also have a particular type of maturity to read it, and they'll have to remember. So you basically
Exactly.
give half your work.
Give them work money, mind
Only-
work. Even this book Thief, that was written in a very interesting way. It's again a non-linear. I mean, it goes back and front with so many characters, and I found that writing style very interesting actually. So yeah, I have a lot of things on mind. Let's see.
have you read Joseph Saramago?
Pardon?
No,
No.
the Portugal writer.
No.
Joseph Saramago.
No.
His books are like that.
Okay.
It demands attention, and maybe
Okay.
we have to read. So where can our readers, aspiring authors, find your works, Megha?
My
Your
books are available. Yeah, it's available on Amazon.com and IN and on Notion Press website. That's it.
Okay. So are you in Insta, FB?
Yes, I am on Instagram as Soliloquy and Shots. So it's a weird soliloquy and shots, SHOTS. Yeah, it is a kind of a different username, but yeah, that is, I am on Instagram.
I think in that case, in the same email thread, we must give
Yes,
Tanya.
I will.
Later on,
Yes.
when the episode goes up, we can give
Sure.
it there.
Yes.
Yeah, we will have to add that information.
Okay, thank you. So that, I mean, I do write short stuff on Instagram, normally with photographs or just snippets from some literature which I find interesting, some writing tips, things like that.
How have you used social media for your book promotion?
Mainly visibility as an author, not, marketing the book per se, but just trying to, be more visible to people. And I've just mentioned it in the bio, that one of my books. I have not really made it very obvious that, I want this is my book and, go ahead and read it kind of stuff. Basically, I was looking for visibility because I was not very active on social media before that. So I just wanted to connect with more people, and know what is happening, how to go about it. I was lost. So that way, it really helped me.
I think almost all authors have been doing that. I mean, we all are.
And the
social
learning,
media.
let me tell you, the learning is endless.
Yeah, definitely. It's,
and the world keeps changing,
right.
And we keep learning.
The reason that we even write is because we don't
Exactly.
want to be in the limelight, and we are put right into it by the social media stuff. So, yeah.
There was a time when I didn't want anybody to, even see my face, or I didn't want to be known.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
by nature.
Yes, yes.
But now we are like going all out.
So that those are the people who will write. That don't you realize that's why we write?
Yes.
Because we don't want a face. We want some our words to matter, but not the face. So that's why
I'm in social media, but most of the time my face won't be there. Only my books.
Yes, yes.
Same with me. But
all
now
of us are like that.
To, but then some people say, "Arey, you should have a face. We can't relate." Then I'll say, "Okay, this is my face." So I had to, push myself. It was kind of a, very big step for me, but then I had to do it.
And good luck to your romance novel. Let it be.
Thank you.
Traditional publisher. And yes, we had a literary agent, Lalita Ravindran. We can introduce you to her.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe you can give the pitch to her. Let her try.
Right. I will. Thank you.
And LOL can connect people, right?
LOL is there to connect people, so we will connect you to people that we think would work for you.
So Lalita Ravindran is based in Pune or Mumbai.
Okay.
She's a literary agent. Yes, genuine person.
You can check her out on Google also. It's her literary agency. It's called First Forays.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So you can search, and we will still connect you. yeah, we will send you her email and stuff so you can contact her.
Yeah.
And what did you do? You have anything to tell aspiring authors, like tips or something? And what did you feel about this entire session with us?
This was a wonderful session. Initially, I was nervous because it's my first time and I didn't know how it's going to be. Because the moment you say debut author, and it's like you're in a lost world. You don't know what's happening because you see so many confident people on social media, and you start, you tend to develop a complex somewhere. So it's been amazing and a very friendly chat, and I mean, it's great. It's really been great, and I must say it's a very good initiative, really, because connecting people, I think it's very important for any creative mind, because ultimately we want our work to be seen and appreciated. That's the bottom line, no matter what you say, right? So this is where you're really doing a great job. I mean, it's amazing. Thank you so much for having me here.
The end of season 2 will have a all together one soon. You must join us.
Sure,
and,
sure.
Yes.
And the community is actually
very for casual chatting also. Sometimes we can have whenever you are free.
Sure.
Yes.
And the community is actually very supportive. The community that we have built around LOL is very supportive, because I saw the strength of the community only when my book was launched. Almost we had then interviewed almost 18, 19 authors, and I didn't believe that even one of them would come, but I had 6 authors in my launch, and I was so happy. I was so happy to have.
Great.
So it will help. It will it's basically like, because we are all like-minded, we can share, a good rapport, and we have made friends. Ms. Jayanti has had like a huge, group, and because she's been writing since a very long time, and I am new. So for me, it was very, very good. I have found 3-4 authors who are very, they will talk to me when they have something, and I will talk to them. So it's kind of like a nice give and take.
Tanya is doing very well, Megha. She's reading other people's works and reviewing, and she's getting her book reviewed by other authors.
Oh, wow.
And
great.
such reviews are so genuine, because they're all authors themselves, right? It's not just So it's such a nice thing.
It helps you grow. Yeah, I mean, you grow with the others, and the community grow. It's a thing.
Because I stay out of India, I'm not able to, and I don't read Kindle. I depend on paperback. So for me to buy from India, it's such a headache. So she's reading Kindle as well as and that's a nice thing. She's creating a good rapport with each other. And it's very nice so you should also do that.
If there's anything I can do from my side, please.
And you both have a similar tribe related book like you. You both must connect.
Yes,
must
definitely.
read each other's manuscript. It's going to really help.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Very happy.
And do you have anything to tell our aspiring authors, like any tips or anything?
Yeah. I mean, yes, it might sound cliche, but then the trick is to never give up. That's what I feel, because there are times when you really feel low, and you tend to compare yourself with others. Right? All of us have done it at some time, and you're in self-doubt whether you're good enough, or are people going to read what is happening with me. But I think at some point we must put all that to rest and just move ahead. Just keep going. And that's what I think.
Yes, and learn to wait.
So learn and continue to learn. Continue to learn. It's a continuous process. We must evolve. That's the only thing.
Thank you. I think I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you so much.